Good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you're listening to us from, straight from the 909. It's Mark, myself, Isaiah, and together, that's hip-hop. So today's going to be a different episode. We're waiting for Andre, actually. So Andre's going to be possibly dropping in on us on this episode. So he's coming from a far ways. So we are going to be talking about a very legendary MC. By the way, please follow, like, and subscribe. A very legendary figure in the world of hip-hop. His style and impact on the genre is just profound. We're talking about Jay-Z. Celebrated for his versatile and masterful lyrics, he can seamlessly switch between storytelling, witty wordplay, social commentary, even introspection in his verses. Beyond music, he's known as this entrepreneurial acumen. He's successful in business ventures with music streaming, fashion, and much more. His business endeavors have actually made him one of the most wealthiest figures in the music industry. We're talking about the ultimate chess player. Jay was someone who studied the rules of the great game in America and bested it by virtue of his genius and enterprise. We're discussing the 8th studio album, The Black Album, released November 14th, 2003 by Rockefeller Records. The Black Album represented Jay-Z's biggest gambit yet. He didn't want to retire as just regular, Joe. He wanted to retire as the greatest of all time. Hip-hop's holy grail. Because usually it's the opposite. Usually it's like hip-hop leaves you behind, but he wanted to retire on top. That was the goal. Mark chose this album today to discuss for us. What was it about this album that hits you in your corazón, man?
I couldn't recommend it for a review fast enough.
You've dropped little Easter eggs for it.
We were coming up on the eve of its 20th anniversary.
Right.
And I felt that this album needs to be talked about in review form. I feel that it's an album that needs to be celebrated. Not that the hip hop culture hasn't celebrated it like that, but I feel that we need to put our take on it. I need to have my take on it because I have a different approach when it comes to this album. And this is the one album that sticks out out of my whole library of albums, and people are like, "Wow, like you really like this album, huh?" And I'll tell them, I'm like, "Yeah, this album has a special place in my heart because it made me a Jay-Z fan. That's how it converted me."
There's so much to this album. One aspect to it is that he's working with so many different legendary producers who were either hot at the time or just legendary in their own right. We're talking about producers such as the Neptunes, Kanye West, Timberland, Just Blaze, Ninth Wonder, DJ Quick, Eminem, Rick Rubin. Just a crazy recipe of artwork here to put together, working with legendary producers like that. So each track is its own like statement. Each track is its own scene in a movie, as Kanye West puts it. And you could tell that he was just putting it all out there. Like, if this was going to be his last hurrah, he wanted to do it right. He wanted to do it perfect. And so there was a lot of details put into this project. He wanted everybody to be on the same page with him. And he wanted to choose the best from everybody. So when he worked with the Neptunes, when he worked with Timberland and Kanye, he wanted to pick the best out of the litter as far as beats goes and production goes, and even working with these creative minds. He wanted to just give you the best of the cream of the crop on this album. And to do it in the time that he did it, dropping this in 2003 November, is an interesting time to drop it, because you're putting out an album where you're not just putting out an album, you want to present and showcase why you're the best to do it. You know, we're talking about 6 or 7 years from Tupac, from Biggie, you know, being at the very top of this thing. And at the time in 2003, you have 50 Cent, who's just, his popularity was crazy around the world.
Yeah, there's still that empty power vacuum that the Notorious B.I.G. did leave in New York. And people were crowding around the throne.
Right.
And it's an odd move to make to get attention surrounded to you. But in this case with Mr. Sean Carter, he proposes that this is going to be his last effort.
Right.
And he says that this is going to be his last album. And it's a good marketing ploy because everyone liked Jay at this time. Everyone thought Jay was still a reasonably exceptional MC. The people never thought that he was just subpar.
Right. Right.
He wants to leave on top. He wants to leave a la Michael Jordan in 98.
Right.
Just do one more finals.
Yeah.
Just give him one more finals. Let's see what he can do. Listening to this as a 15-year-old, I was able to get this album from a friend of mine, actually get a copy of it from him, and listening to it, despite the fact that I honestly felt during this time I was out of his salary bracket in terms of what he provided lyrically. He's always talking about, you know, fancy cars or just like suited, you know, wearing suits and just being all blinged out, just being, you know, a high class man, you know, the image of that. I always felt that I was out of his salary bracket. So there was like but despite that, the appeal was still there. If anything, it was like an aspiration to get to that level. It was something of like Jay extending his hands out to the lower class, to the young men, to be like, hey, look, like you play your cards right in any endeavor that you do. In my endeavor, perhaps this is hip hop. You could do the same thing, you know, because he even went from, he was a smart businessman in the sense of he took his initial capital investment from doing his import exports and whatever he was doing. And then he takes that investment and says, hey, no, I don't need to be in the streets forever. I can actually spit. Actually start spitting.
Yeah.
And he's actually pretty freaking good.
Yeah, really good. I mean, I think that's that is something so dope to like to go out in your own terms, to go out your own way. And I felt at the time, I remember, you know, when he was first talking about this being his last album, I kind of thought, well, this is kind of early, ain't it? Like you're like you're like right now, like doing it. Like, why would you want to stop and quit after that? But, you know, that was the thing that built up the hype around this album too, or drew in people, is that, you know, this was going to be it. This is going to be his last run at this. Like everybody wanted to get their hands on this album. Everybody wanted to get tickets to the Madison Square Garden. Like, you know, there was so much around it. I think that was genius of him also, whether that was intentional or not. I really truly believe he was going to retire, but you know how it works when people either die, like rappers either die or retire, we start to then appreciate them once they're gone. You know, it's this weird phenomenon that always happens, and hip hop artists are well aware of this. But in Jay-Z's in his move, it really played well for him, because he really, I feel like, genuinely was going to retire. But in the same sense, when he came back, it was like almost like a resurrection, you know?
Yeah.
It was like the king's back, like kind of thing. So it was just like after this album, you could tell there was like a new Jay-Z, like a well-versed, intelligent, like you could tell he moved up in another level, another like stratosphere.
Yeah, prodigal son style.
Yeah.
You know, like 5 years later, he comes out in 2008 with that American Gangster album.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we see what you did here, and it's like you're even more of a Don than ever. And maybe, you know, the phrase goes, how can I miss you if you don't go away?
Right. Right.
You know, there's people that overstay their welcome in some instances.
Yeah. And we hear him talk about in this album too, is like, you know, this thing that you love, when you try to step away from it, it pulls you back in. It's the famous Godfather line where he's like, I try to leave it, but it pulls me back in.
Just when you thought I was out of it, it pulled me right back in.
So it's kind of cool, or it's even ironic even, because he talks about that in one of the songs we're going to cover. How he himself, you can hear when he's talking about this, how it's that whole just hustler mentality that just gives him that spark. And even with this rapping career, it's like, how long can you really stop doing something you love? You know what I mean? So it's like, it feels in a way he was pulled back into something he actually loves doing as well. So, and you can see like beyond this album, like he's put out such great hit after hit, anthem after anthem, creative project after creative project, just getting deeper even. Like, I feel like he is one of those hip hop artists now who is in uncharted territory. Like, for us to have a super lyricist, like in his,
comes back whenever he wants.
Yeah. Like, he's just at a different level in his age to be able to rap about different topics, different perspectives. It's uncharted territory.
Yeah, he actually, if you were going to take a graph, Jay-Z would be the eldest statesman with the most popularity. Right. There's definitely are elder statesmen in hip hop, but their popularity isn't there. Right. He is kind of like dare I say, like LeBron James, where he's the most active. He's playing the best basketball, the best basketball you can at that age. Yep. He's doing that with hip hop. He's being the best he can at that age. Though the what if that I have for Jay-Z at this time is that what if he actually stuck to that? What if he actually stuck to retiring in 2003? You would have left a very crater-like power vacuum in New York, because then it's a free-for-all. Jay's out. No more Jay-Z? Right. I'm in. Jay-Z's out? No, he's retired for good? Cool.
Somebody's going to want to take that place. Yeah.
Because Biggie's not, Biggie's no longer with you, with us. And then you have this guy just calling his own shot. Right. On his own, leaving it to everybody else.
And from like Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody from that area. That place is full of talent, someone's going to want to step.
You bump into somebody, he's going to be a good dope rapper.
Yeah. But like, if you were to answer your question, cause I never really thought about that. What if he really did hang it up after this album?
Yeah.
How would that have changed things going forward? Cause Jay-Z has been very crucial to social commentary, very crucial to bringing politics, bringing awareness to things. Working with his wife Beyonce on different projects and I feel like that would have definitely, like you said, left this vacuum. Somebody else would have tried to fill that void, but it wouldn't. You can't really fill those shoes because he's coming from a place of this hustler mindset that just not everybody got that.
Right.
Like it's
he
not
wouldn't
only,
have left it alone.
Yeah. He's not just a MC. Like he's a hustler first, then an MC. So it's like, who are you going to really get to fill that role or that place? It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
There are a few MCs who I could think of, but it's still not quite the same.
It would have created a crazy timeline, because then you think about Lil Wayne trying to learn quicker.
Yeah.
Because at that point, from 03 to 08, that's Lil Wayne's time. Wayne's time as far as with all the Carter albums.
Right.
You also have, maybe this would have brought a resurgence back to Mos Def, Talib Kweli, those guys. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely so.
Because, New York City as a whole,
But Mos Def was in a whole different direction as far as artistry.
Because after in 04, the New Danger comes out. What if he ended up just scrapping it and said, oh, Jay's out? We don't know any of these theories. This is why it's a what if.
Yeah, possibly.
And another thing, he doesn't, another thing about the Black Album is that Jay-Z doesn't leave whack.
Yeah.
Because the Black Album is arguably side by side with Speaker Box and The Love Below by Outkast is the greatest album of the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I give the late 2000s to the Carter 3, the Cool, all them, but it's a toss up between the Black Album and Speaker Box and Love Below for 03, 04 respectively.
What about 50 Cent's album though in 2003?
Dog.
It's a big bomb.
You talking about dude, it could have been either for the Massacre or Get Rich or Die Trying, but dude, the Black Album or Speaker Box and Love Below, dog. Even you're joining two. This is like fusion.
I'm just saying it's a big bomb.
For Devil's Advocate, but the thing that I hold the reason I hold Speaker Box and Love Below as a higher regard, it's like Big Boys and Andre 3000's fusion dance.
Yeah.
You know, this is them putting two solo albums, putting it as one release. And damn.
But when you do compare, like, does 50 Cent have bars like Jay-Z has? Do you think? I feel like Jay-Z lyricism is much higher.
Jay even openly admits he dials it back. Yeah. You know, if truth be told, I'd be rhyming like Common Sense.
Yeah,
but that
he'd be doing the reasonable doubt thing. Yeah.
He would have, but he didn't. And he could turn it on. That means he could turn it on whenever he wants. So he's actually, he's graciously dumbing it down for us peons here, you know? And I think no
disrespect to 50 Cent.
Oh yeah, no. Like I think even 50 would know that, like, hey, look, like Jay's on another planet. Like even if he actually did the stuff that he did with Jazz, rapping all quick and stuff, oh bro.
Yeah.
Even that perspective would have been impressive. But there's nothing better than hearing this album all the way through, because this is one of the very few albums that I've heard where the intro, the outros, the interludes, and everything else ties into the whole album. And it's essential that you hear all of that. Yeah. You don't just, okay, let me go to the next track, but still hear it all the way through.
Right.
It's something continuous because you know all that plays into the experience of the Black Album.
Right. Each change of pace really flows. And where you feel like, okay, you know, now after a hype song, like, you know, brush the dirt off your shoulders, you know, then you go into a change of pace. Like it's perfect. Like, you know, that flow in the album is just, you don't always find that, and you definitely have it here on this album. And what else was I going to say about it? I love the intros of this too. We'll get into that and everything, but I just felt like this album was really done to perfection. And you know what's crazy is that when this album dropped, it's in a time where mixtapes and everything was starting to be really hot. So this is a time where you might have been able to hear this album before it even dropped, just by, you know, your bootlegger, your local bootlegger, you know, who was just on the block, you know, what you need, what you got. Like he might have had this album on bootleg, and you might have been able to purchase it early, just being a lover of you know, hip hop.
That's how I got it.
Yeah, that's how it was at that time. So it's just a crazy market how that was at that time. But you know, this was before you're talking about Spotify's and streams and all that. This was a different time. What do you think? What are your thoughts about the cover of the album when you saw that?
I thought something was wrong with Mike. I thought something was wrong with a couple of the covers. I thought it was like, wait, is this supposed to be how it is?
Yeah.
But when you end up understanding the fade to black, you know, it's like a theater production.
Right.
You know, you end up seeing that, hey, the show's over.
Right.
You end up understanding that, yeah, there's a reason why I called it the Black Album. There's like a reason behind it.
Yeah, it's kind of like well, not to compare, but you know, Eminem, he went on that kind of little, that concept as well with doing the encore. So Eminem kind of plays in that realm. You know, it's a cool concept to play too.
Yeah.
You know, Jay-Z did it his own way, you know, and I feel like, you know, it kind of reminds me of, I don't know. I guess it doesn't remind me of anything, to be honest. I think when looking at that though, you're just seeing, you're seeing like greatness. You're seeing somebody who has a hustler mindset, who made his way out of, you know, the ghetto or, you know, the streets. he made his way on top and he figured it out, and that's kind of the American dream in a sense is, to figure it out and make your way out. But it's not easy as it looks. Some people think, oh, you got lucky, you made it by luck. Jay-Z's not the kind that believes necessarily in just luck alone, like that you have to make it happen. And sure, luck maybe sometimes might hit you, but it's not, it has to be working together with your hard work as well. Jay-Z's definitely somebody who believes that. So, when I see that, I see somebody who's just a smart person, who's just the ultimate chess player.
Yeah.
Ultimate chess player.
I think his best financial achievement was being able to keep Beyonce around so long.
Facts though.
But then it's funny how the tables have turned on that one, but I digress.
Yeah, facts.
The 3 songs that we selected for this, I'm glad that all 3 of us actually selected the 3 like really quickly.
Yeah, including Dre. Dre agreed with the 3 that Mark was alluding that we were going to cover. Yeah.
Yeah. What more can I say? Lucifer and Allure are going to be the 3. So this isn't going to be the atypical, 3 songs that we, you thought we may have selected.
Right. Right.
But I feel that these are the most impactful in a sense to where Jay-Z's developing a new edge on hip hop songs in general, because no one really liked openly talking about Satan.
Right.
In a song with Lucifer.
Yeah. Because that automatically shields off a lot of listeners, or, at least those who, think that it might be demonic or something.
Correct.
That automatically cuts some of the listeners because, even I myself coming from a religious background, I hear a title track called Lucifer. I don't want to really listen to that.
Right.
But continue to your point. Yeah. What you were saying.
And then it follows next to Allure. Right. And Allures being, the root word of Allures being seeing it and being tempted by it,
Yeah.
So it follows next to that. And then what more can I say? It's just, it's a man just letting you know, hey, look, I'm presenting you as me. This is me. I feel what more can I say is like a good, not just a hip hop song, but it's like, it's a grand presentation of who Jay-Z is.
Well said.
The chorus lyrics, we'll dive into that, but it's a good, it's a fantastic 3 songs that I believe that.
And you're talking about, mind you, for our audience who doesn't know, Mark is a big fan of The Gladiator. All right. So the fact that this sample happens to be on this track as well is probably just a nice check off your box of just, a nice to have kind of thing. But at that time too, Russell Crowe in that movie was just incredible in the DVD era. Like that was just an incredible movie.
When it was available for Blu-ray, I couldn't buy it fast enough. Like that's when Blu-rays were like $30, $25.
It was a good time.
I was just like, here we go.
Yeah,
like
it's a good time.
It's one of those. It's one of those
have in your collection. Yeah.
It's one of those few movies that I've bought several versions of.
Right. To this day, Mark still watches this movie. To this day, every now and then.
My buddy Romeo said that he didn't watch he hasn't watched Gladiator before. We were at the Portland Retro Game Expo. Dude, my eyes lit up like a dog. I was just like, you haven't seen it for real?
Yeah.
Like that's when I got like serious.
Do you remember that guy that said he didn't see Judgment Day that one time?
Oh man, we were just Terminator like, 2.
Excuse me?
What? Like throw him out. He was like the security guard. I was about to throw him out. I was about to throw him out of the bar.
Excuse me? You haven't seen what? But yeah, so you're having this on the beginning track. I mean, what better concept or metaphor? Because you're thinking of like, Madison Square Garden, the freaking Coliseum. It's like, it's parallel.
Yeah, and it plays into the whole, what more can I say?
Right.
Like, so.
Is there, what was the line there?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Is this not why you are here?
Is this not why you are here?
Yeah. It's awesome. And it's, so after that plays out, you hear just like, turn the music, turn me down, Guru. Let's go get him again. And I thought this was Guru from Gangstar.
That's what I thought too, because we talked about Guru talking about like the Coliseum and Gladiator stuff before. So I thought
it was Step of the Arena. Yeah,
Step of the Arena. I thought it was a play.
So it's an allusion to young Guru, who was it was an audio engineer from Rockefeller.
Right.
And
dope shout outs too. He's getting mad shout outs. And respect your engineers, by the way. They're very important too.
Yeah, dude. peace to Isaiah for that's hip hop because he's audio engineer, tour manager.
Very amateur, but yes,
gives us cold water and
we
caviar.
We should give respects to those people.
Verse 1, there's never been this good for this long, this hood or this pop, this hot or this strong, with so many different flows. This one's for this song. God, already coming out of the gate.
Already, dude, like blowing us away already. Like the fact that he has different flows, and you see that in this album with every track, he has a whole different flow for it. Different beats, different styles. That just shows how freaking nice you are with the pen. Well, he doesn't even write it. He thinks it, but how nice you are to be able to, how dynamic and versatile you would have to be as a lyricist to come at him, because he is able to switch that flow up.
I feel his style is akin to prime Mike Tyson, babyface punch style, bobbing and weaving, because slipping punches, counter, slip punches, counter, over the head jabs, combinations, flurries.
Yeah.
It's exactly that, quick, speed, fast. Doesn't rely on big power, but it's quick.
I definitely feel like he's chameleon-like. I feel like there, because he adapts very well to his surroundings in regards to musically.
Yeah.
So I definitely sense that. We'll talk a little bit more as his style progresses in here.
This one I switch up. This one will get bit up. These fucks too lazy to make up shit. They crazy.
Right. Let me play this real quick.
Next one I switch up.
I have to.
This one will get bit up. I already know he's going to get copied.
Yeah, I already know that it's going to get sampled, that it's going to get, that. And we see so many artists take his lyrics and chop it up and use it in hip hop anthems. T.I.
Yep.
Bring them out. Bring them out. Bring them out. What's the line? Don't know what it's like with the barrel in your mouth or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's like, who else used him? Cassidy.
I'm a hustler.
I'm a hustler.
Ask about me. That was a cool little phrase for a long time.
Yeah. Ask about me. Like, you a customer crony? Like, there's so many little bites, clips that you get from his lyrics. This dude, prophetic as it is, kind of already knows like his lines are going to get big.
Yeah.
And not to say people might even copy some of his lines or, so just another part of it.
They don't paint pictures, they just trace me. You know what? Soon they forget where they plucked. The whole style from where they reverse the outcome. I'm like, I'm not a biter, I'm a writer for myself and others. Ooh. Letting y'all know that he ghostwrites for a little bit.
Famously ghost wrote for Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg on Still. But, so the whole point here is some people were accusing him of, stealing Biggie's lines but he's kind of showing like, I don't even need to steal. I write for other people.
Yeah.
Like, so if anything, I'm giving these people props. I'm like, keeping his legacy alive. But like for you to accuse me that I have to like bite lines, it's laughable. I freaking write a whole freaking song for other people. So
I say a big verse. I'm only bigging up my brother. Bigging up my burrow. I'm big enough to do it. I'm that thorough. So the rhymes with burrow, thorough. Right. Plus I know my own flow is foolish. So
it's just sick.
So them rings and things you sing about, bring them out.
Yep.
It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth.
There you go.
I'm in new sneakers, dual seaters, supercars, few divas.
Woo. I forgot that that it's not going to pick this up because this is off of the main channel. I just realized that.
The Scouter?
I'm recording both of ours individually, but I didn't record the main channel.
I think you could do a post.
You can't. Well, yeah, I could probably do a post.
Yeah, if you want to.
But
we had the Scouter sounder.
We
had the Scouter sound effect that just came on. But I'm in new sneakers, dual seaters, few divas. What more can I tell you? Let me spell it for you. WILLIE. Nobody truer than HOV.
Yeah. And so he's been known to play with this Big Willie slang, which is basically saying like, you're the one that has, the most cash. You're the hottest, like Big Willie, like
Big Willie style,
yeah,
baby.
Big Willie style. So he's playing off of that. So these other nicknames that he has, Hove for short for Hova.
Jehovah.
So he's like a god MC. He's saying, playing off of that concept. And I'm back for more. New York's ambassador, prime minister, back to finish my business up.
And this chorus, simple. What more can I say? What more can I do? I gave this up for you. I know this much is true, 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 my love. If you like doing what you do, you will give up all vices. You will give up anything that's hindering your progress to do it.
Yep, that's true.
Make it sacrifice.
That's true.
I gave this up for you.
Right. Yeah.
Look at like it's him. It's the person in the chorus. It's representing Jay-Z, but he's like, I gave this up for you.
Right.
The passion for hip hop, the fact that he's probably talking about the game that he left behind. Like he probably could have made easy, quick money, flipping bricks, doing whatever he was doing, but he gave it up for you, hip hop. Because he knew that the passion was there. If he felt that, dude, he went for it.
That's crazy. I didn't even think of it like that. That's dope. You already know what I'm about, flying birds down south. So that meaning flying birds down south. So birds, could be another meaning for like drugs, basically,
so,
right?
Yeah,
so he's having like mules, like these female mules who are taking the drugs over by plane down south, moving wet off of the steppe, purple rain and the drought. Yep. So wet, also another for heroin, I believe.
PCP. Yeah.
PCP. I'm sorry, I'm not really familiar with these drug acronyms, but PCP off of the steps, so off of like your front door, basically moving it out of his stash house, wherever it's coming from. And even if that's a drought, there's purple rain, so you got weed, marijuana. If there's a drought, I know. So that one's pretty dope. Bars.
Yeah. So if your supplier's cutting you off there, you can always go to more homegrown. Not bigger margins, but
stunning on hoes, brushing off my shirt. But ain't nothing on my clothes except for the chain. My name, Young H.O. Pitch the yay faithful. Even if they patrol, I make payroll. Benz paid for. Friends, they roll. Private jets down to Turks and, how you pronounce that?
Turks and Caicos?
Caicos. Chris Kalos. I don't give a life to live. I can't let a day go by without me being fly, fresh to death. Head to toe till the day I rest.
Even in the casket.
It's still fresh. I just like the mentality of it, though, because he's in a way saying, like, no matter what obstacles they put in my way, whether they're trying to hunt me down or whatever, I'm going to always have payroll paid. I'm going to always have my Benz. I'm going to always be, like, moving. Like, it's again, going back to the whole chess player thing. It's like he is the ultimate, street-wise dude. Like he's always going to be making moves. He's always looking for a way to make it out.
Yeah, a G's always going to find his way, like no matter what. Like even when you think he's down and out, he knows, dudes always have it up to a plan E, F. You know how we always say plan A or plan B, plan C? Dude, right. Sometimes we got to land it until we got to have plan G, H, I, J, K, We have to have all those options. I know for me, plan Z, I got to be a bartender. That's my plan Z. No disrespect to any bartenders, but that's like the options.
Yeah, I could totally see you as Malone from Cheers, dude. Give me crisp pair of jeans. Button-ups. He's talking about his plus. He's 30 plus.
You got the back line, though, and I don't wear jerseys. I'm 30 plus.
Right. Then give me a crisp pair of jeans. Button-ups. S dots on my feet make the cipher complete. So play off of Nas's line.
Yep.
Tim's on his feet. So he's saying his own shoes on his feet instead of somebody else's shoes.
Yep.
Damn,
S Carter's.
He's always attacking Nas in these bars, though.
Yeah. And then, so for the people that didn't know, at this time, Jay-Z's going with the hip-hop shoe deal angle,
Reebok,
where 50 Cent had the G-Unit sneakers.
Yeah.
Jay-Z has a deal with Reebok with the S Carters.
Yeah.
I know that your boy had a pair of S Carters.
Oh, did you for real?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
What more can I say, Guru? Play the beat. But I kind of like that play, though, on the 30, how he's just talking about, his style.
No throwbacks for me.
Yeah,
basically, that's a cold diss to a lot of people in the dirty South.
Right, yeah, true.
Nelly, it's the thing to Nelly, even though just throwback jerseys in general, even the age. I don't know if Nelly was 30 at the time, though, but I idea. Like a lot of people were wearing throwback jerseys back then.
Yeah.
You
know
know
what's a cool aspect to Jay-Z is like he could make something cool and make something uncool by, you know, a
just
quick
one bar.
One bar. He can, like, I think he was saying like, I don't pop mollies or something. Like basically ended that whole Molly talk in hip hop for a minute.
I remember when he dissed that dude Kwame, he's like, "You look stupid like Kwame in the polka dots."
Oh, shoot.
Yo, no, your whole style's played out like Kwame in the fucking polka dots. Who rocked the spot? Biggie, like, dude, diss Kwame, like,
Wow.
he was an up and coming rapper, but his
Yeah.
gimmick was they used to wear polka dots all
Yeah.
the time.
There's
Like,
few-
one bar just obliterated
few
him.
rappers who have that power, but there are some out there. You know, Nas is definitely one of those guys. Eminem probably be one of those guys. Jay-Z for sure. But it's a few guys who have that power in one bar.
Like even when Eminem's example, and Moby is like in Obi, you can get when he was dissing Moby.
Yeah.
He's like, in Moby, you could get stomped by Obi.
Yeah,
30-year-old, like he's telling them no one listens to techno. Dog, dude, let go. Nobody listens to techno. Jay's third verse. Now you know your ass is Willie when they got you in the mag. So Big Willie style in the magazine. So this is around Jay-Z's getting on the cover of Forbes.
Right.
On the cover of
They start estimating your worth.
for like half a billy, and your ass ain't Lily White. So it's good to even be in this magazine. You know you Big Willie style when you're in Forbes. You ain't white, and you're getting estimated for 500 mil.
Right.
At this time in what 2003, 2004, half a mil, basically double that. He's already at a bill value adjusted for inflation.
Yeah. I mean that you write must be illy. Either that or your flow is silly. It's both. So not only is what he writes is sick, but how he flows is crazy. So he's saying, I don't just got it by the written or by, you know, just the lyrics on their own, but what you read, but I also flow it pretty dope. And I don't mean to boast, but damn, if I don't brag, damn crackers gonna act like I ain't on the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's just another thing. It's like he's knowing, you see how aware he is and how conscious he is within these verses. He's already thinking of like how these other people are seeing it from their perspective.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a sign of somebody who is, you know, very smart, somebody who realizes somebody else is, what they're going to play or move, how they're going to move.
Yeah. Those 4 bars alone should show you guys that Jay-Z can be a conscious rapper. Mm-hmm. He's very wise in geopolitics,
right?
And he understands the situation, but he does know he does know marketing a little bit more. He knows that marketing is going to be way more effective rapping like this,
right?
Still being able to reel people in with a dope line or two, but he has to bring it to the audience that he knows will buy this album,
right?
He kind of knows that conscious rap won't be able to be that effective for it. What is it?
The Martha Stewart that's far from Jewish, far from a Harvard student, just had the balls to do it. So can you imagine that? Like, you know, one thing is like, you know, the people, in this way he's referring to Jews, he's referring to them as, you know, smart dealing with money. Mm-hmm. So he's saying like, in other words, he's good with money too, but he's far from being Jewish. Yeah. You know, so it's like he wasn't really, it wasn't like the path was laid out for him. Yeah. He trailblazed a path and made it happen and he's far from a Harvard student. You would think that, you know, you would have to, in order to be this successful, that you would have to go to Harvard, that you would have to, you know, be related to a certain family or something. But he's saying like, no, like I'm able to do it my own way, you know, and I'm able to make it happen. That's the genius of Jay-Z, is like, he's always done it differently. I don't know if he's ever had a regular job or not, but for me, the way I've always seen him in his career, it feels like he hasn't, but you know, I don't know.
He's a street pharmacist.
That's the what's his resume? His resume is crazy without having a resume of
and that's crazy too, because it ended up expanding into, you know, these $1 billion net worth, a literal billionaire.
That's crazy. That's super crazy.
far from a Harvard student, just had the balls to do it. And no, I'm not through with it. In fact, I'm just previewing it. This ain't the show. I'm just EQing it. So he's barely on sound check.
And when
he's barely on sound check with this show.
And when you take a look back now, you can see like it really was nothing yet. Like compared to all the things that he's done after this point, like he's done so many things. Like he's working with sports athletes now. He has title.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Like
he's starting to go into the Brooklyn Nets.
He's having meetings with like the wealthiest people. He's in fashion, like, you know, big player there. The dude's all over the place. He's doing movies now. Like I think he's part of the production for this new movie out that, right? It's like,
I wouldn't be surprised if he's producing movies too, because that's where a lot of good money's at.
He's everywhere. So you can see like that gives more weight to that lyric I'm just here. This is just a preview of what I'm about to do.
1, 2, and I won't stop abusing it. To groupie girls, stop false accusing it. Ooh. So he's even on the early don't do this Me Too movement, right, kind of. So he's the early seedlings of the Me Too movement. To groupie girls, stop false accusing it. Back to the music, the Maybach roof is translucent. It's got a problem, Houston. What up, B? They can't shut up me.
Let's say Beyonce's from Houston too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they were saying too that the line could be also alluded to Marquise Houston, who also dated Beyonce before Jay did. So it's kind of like maybe Marcus Houston has a problem. You know, what up, B? They can't shut up me.
Because I think they said Marcus Houston was talking shit to them, like about them or something too. So,
hey, you know, it's stubborn.
Shut up, not even PE. I'm a ride. So Public Enemy, which has this track,
Shut 'Em
Down.
Yep.
So not even Public Enemy. I'm a ride. God forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. Woo. So picture me letting these clowns nitpick at me. Pay me like a pickney. I will literally kiss TT in the forest. So pickney, that's an old play, huh? That's like a racist. Yeah,
the pickney is going to be the just whatever advertisement that like portrayed men kind of like just dark, just completely black, red lips. Okay. You know, it's going to be like that.
Yeah, so he's saying like you're not going to paint me like this imagery or whatever.
Yeah, so letting these clowns nitpick at me, paint me like a pickney. I will literally, like, when he keeps going with these, like, I'll literally kiss TT on the forehead as Jay-Z's niece.
Right, Jay-Z's niece.
But he doesn't want people to portray him like that. Like, he's like picture that. Picture them doing that to me. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, again, showing another side of just the consciousness, the social commentary even, you know.
Tell her, please forgive me, then squeeze into your forehead. I'm not the one who scored points off of. In fact, I got a joint that'll knock your points off.
Ooh.
Young Hova the God, blasphemy. Blasphemy instead of blasphemy.
Instead of blasphemy.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
I'm at the Trump International. Ask for me. I ain't never scared. I'm everywhere. You ain't never there. He's everywhere. You ain't never there. Everywhere.
Oh, shoot.
Dude, that's crazy. It's like, it's the fact that he laid this out makes it, he gives you a simple delivery, but here we are on That's Hip Hop letting you know, I'm everywhere. You ain't never there. It's just it's a simple, like, just picture it as like a lead plate. Yeah. It doesn't look heavy, but you try to, it has a lot to it. Right, it's heavy.
Right. Don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you.
Why would I ever care? Pound for pound, I'm the best to ever come around here. Excluding nobody. Look what I embody.
And the way he said that was very clever too, because, you know, pound for pound, he doesn't want to just flat out just say he's just the greatest, you know, because he is trying to keep it respectful for Biggie and stuff too, you know, because I like the way he did it by saying pound for pound. Yes. I'm the best to ever come around here, because he could have easily just said I'm the best to come around here, but I like how he is putting it to the exact pound of like, yo, I'm the best right now. You know, doing pound for pound. It's just a nice way to say, because like easily people will say like Allen Iverson was the best pound for pound. You know what I mean? because you're taking into consideration the body size and just the different dynamics.
Yeah, and his output despite that.
But if Allen Iverson were like, 6'5" or something crazy and like T-Max status, like who knows what that dude,
yeah,
he would have dominated. So like it's a cool way to still be kind of respectable to Biggie. Biggie is a big bone person, but dude can spit, so in a way it's still kind of a cool sly way to do it.
Yeah.
Excluding nobody, look what I embody. The soul of a hustler. Here he goes breaking it down. I really ran the street. A CEO's mind. The marketing plan was me. Ooh. And no, I ain't get shot up a whole bunch of times. 50 was like, huh? Well,
yeah. Ja Rule's like, are you please talking about me? When he got shot that one time.
And I animated like
say a bust of rhymes.
Oh. But the real you get when you bust down my lines. Add that to the fact when go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So at this point in the song, it's going off. It's fading out, and it's kind of like stopping, and it's like just going off.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that's dope too.
Yeah,
and add that to the fact I went to a bunch of times. Ooh, platinum, a bunch of times. Times that by my influence on pop culture, I'm supposed to be number one on everybody's list. Well, we'll see what happens when I no longer exist.
And he's like, it's like, fuck this, man. And then you hear his headset go off, hit the mic.
Yeah, that
and then you get, what more can I say?
Yeah.
And then stops.
That's been one of the big criticisms to Jay-Z, just going to play devil's advocate here, is that every year, I've seen a TikTok video of this, I believe, every year, Jay-Z has never been number one. There's never been a year where he was the one artist. They'll say like DMX had it at one point, Eminem had it, 50 Cent. There was other people always kind of in the way. Lil Wayne, Drake, like there was always somebody. Kanye. So that's always been a criticism to Jay-Z, is that he has never been number one per se. What are your thoughts to that? Do you think like
so in the instance of,
do you think
I go about it with the Black, like this is why I like the Black Album as it is right now. You're talking 2003. This is the best album to come out of the early 2000s, and I have to subcategorize it in a way like this because despite that, we still have Outkast, Speakerboxxx, Love Below. Granted, it's not a solo effort, but it's a double album that it took a double album to come against this Black Album to me. Mm-hmm. But the fact that Jay-Z wasn't number one at any point, you can spin that argument however which way. But if he's saying 50 Cent was number one at the point, that's true. But then you factor in you're taking the skills out first, and then you're factoring in commercial sales. Mm-hmm. Now that takes marketing plans. So now you're taking into effect who had the best marketing, who had the best output with that marketing, and who's also really good on the mic.
True. That's one of the interesting things about Jay-Z too, is like he couldn't, or record labels weren't investing in him to like. That's why he had to start Rockefeller, because he had to make his own label because there was no labels that were going to want to pick him up. You know, which is so crazy to like go back in retrospect to like think about that. Mm-hmm. No label wanted to pick up Jay-Z. Like that's bizarre. That's like not picking up Tom Brady in the draft. Like that's just crazy. So like no label wanted to pick him up. He ends up trailblazing again, starts his own, record label with his friends, and made it happen. The Fool made it happen. So I don't take anything away from him, like whether that's true or not of being this number one guy, whatever year, whatever. To me, it's like maybe he might have not won the battle. Maybe some of these years, I'm just going to give this person the benefit of the doubt of that. Maybe he didn't win the battle, but in a sense, he's kind of won the war though, because when Jay-Z drops, everybody's ear, including like the top people in hip hop, listen to what Jay-Z has to say.
That's the perfect example.
So much impact.
I could take it within boxing.
Yeah.
My argument is that De La Hoya's never won the big fight. You know, he's never
Right.
like anytime that he was stacked against different fighters, he lost to Tito Trinidad, he lost to
Yeah.
Bernard Hopkins, lost to
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, I know.
He's lost to lost to Manny Pacquiao. He's never won the big fight. He's always beat the people he was supposed to beat, Ricardo Mayorga, Fernando Vargas, Julio Cesar Chavez twice. Yeah, perfect. But the big fight, he was supposed to win. He didn't win. But who's still regarded as still the golden boy?
Right.
Who's still the most one of the most celebrated middleweight, welterweights of all time, Oscar De La Hoya.
It's still a big, respectable name.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I look at Jay-Z as a more heralded version of Oscar De La Hoya.
More heralded, though.
Yeah. It's like still an astute businessman, still doing it post hip hop.
Right.
But even at his time, dude, did you really want to test him?
Yeah.
Nah,
No,
bro. Like
nah.
it's people with these hip hop debates and everything. It's like, yeah, you could spin it however you want because you're going to be able to go with your album sales. And if DMX sold 100,000 more albums than Reasonable Doubt, then you're going to go with that.
Right. Right.
You know, then you're going to go with that to spin your narrative.
Yeah.
But skills
But then
wise,
we could also
DMX ain't coming near Jay-Z.
But then we could also go with the durability thing. I mean, that's been a big thing in our time, and now it's durability as far as GOAT conversations.
Yeah.
It's all about how long can Drake do this, or how long can LeBron do this? You know, whereas like back in the 90s, Jordan did it in such a short period of time, and at the time it was looked at that was greatness. I still think it is greatness, by the way, and that Jordan is number one still. But people now see things differently, where it's all about durability. And if we apply that to hip hop, Jay-Z's durability is long compared. Pause, but no homo. But it's like his durability has been in this career for hip hop. I mean, dude, how many albums this guy's put out? He was almost doing one like every year almost too.
Yeah, even in this perspective of November 03,
Yeah.
LeBron James' rookie year.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about LeBron James 2023 still.
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
that's a good time lapse for you guys to get with too as well.
Yeah.
So
that track, dude, this track is so great. Like, and that's not even to mention the first track. It was kind of like an autobiography, which was just an iconic. He had his mom's in it. Like, that's so iconic.
We had to pick 3 songs that and it's with this type of album. This could have been like a 2-part, like we're covering the Black Album in its entirety. We could have done that.
Right.
You know, I think that's something that we're going to have to like
Eventually sometime
at least exercise because that way albums that, you know, need a little deeper dive into can be a 2-parter.
Yeah. I agree.
So the next,
and then you're going to talk about, like, I have to mention Encore because it was so big for me at the time. Like,
or change Encore, change
Change,
clothes,
99
dirt off your
Problems,
shoulders,
99
99 problems.
Moment of Clarity, even.
Dude,
Yeah.
we're not kidding when we say that this album is from the interludes, intros, outros. You have to hear everything on this album.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard this album for the first time, you have to listen. I recommend just being in a quiet space.
Yeah.
Like, this is movie theater-esque type of album here.
Yeah.
You know, this is Nas Illmatic. Listen to it for the first time in the sanctity of your quiet space, your room, you know, whatever. Like, if you got a Harry Potter style, you know, little room underneath your stairwell where you live, boom, same thing. Like, you'll learn to appreciate a lot more. It'll paint a picture in your mind. I feel that this album does that for me.
Yeah.
When I listened to it the first time, dude, there's repeated times of me walking home from school, and I time it right to where I could listen to the whole Black Album, and I'd get home right around to like where it finishes.
Timed it out perfect. That's
Dude.
sick. Yeah.
And that's when I had my buddies, like, that's when I was telling you my
He gave you
buddy
that
Justin
headset?
gifted me these Sony headsets, these Sony headphones.
Right.
Dude, I thought I was listening to music with like cheap rinky-dink headphones, dog. I was on a whole different.
Yeah.
Hearing that in
some
stereo,
good headphones
dude,
back
it
in the
was
day.
just like-
Ooh. But I mean, Encore was just one of those special ones to me because it. I mean, I don't know if there's a better encore soundscape that's better than this that Kanye provided. You know, I feel like I'm in the Madison Square Garden when this thing plays.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you that feeling. it's just a perfect beat to a well-written song that, just gives you kind of like that feeling like a time capsule, like you're there.
I like to provide moments in context with hip hop and history like this. My original profession that I wanted to seek out was to be a history teacher. I always wanted to do that. And I've always was fascinated by history because it's like, if we repeat history, if we don't learn from the past, we are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
So the case in point, I like bridging the gap between hip hop and politics in the sense to where Two Live Crew got Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, so upset that she prompted the music industry to put the parental advisory label not only on the Two Live Crew album as a whole lyrically, but the fact is that Two Live Crew's album is them sitting on the sand like this, like yearbook style, and above you got these like fantastic asses of these like three chicks with just nice asses. And and another moment in hip hop, which I felt that I don't think I can be confident in saying that I don't know if there's another moment that deliberately bridged a song and a president together to where I believe President Barack Obama was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and he's talking about the naysayers of his whole election, the naysayers of his whole like campaign.
Oh, okay.
He's like,
okay,
you know what we do? And just as takes the dirt off his shoulder, but does it in the same fashion that Jay-Z was doing it in Dirt Off Your Shoulder,
Yeah.
the music video.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Jay is getting the props from, our first black president.
Right.
I like that. I like the fact that this is one of the first moments. This is like Ben Franklin, like giving props to I was literally trying to think of a hip hop artist back in his day.
Good luck. Good luck.
This is like the king quoting, this is like
50 years of hip hop. All of a sudden now it's like 100 years of hip hop.
Hear ye, weak MCs. Hear ye, weak MCs. I decree that I'm going to battle thee.
Aesop back in the day or what?
Yeah, it could have been. I think that's one of the moments where hip hop finally bridged the gap to a president.
Yeah.
But in not the angry way where Tipper Gore like wanted a parental advisory label.
Exactly. You're getting props more like. I guess that could also show you the evolution of hip hop too, and the impact that hip hop has elevated to, like as far as it's kind of like the number one genre.
Yeah.
I don't want to say kind of. It is the number one genre.
Yes.
So it just shows you how things have changed, or times have changed, or perceptions have changed on hip hop too. Cool moment though. Like, can you imagine just coming from your literal background was from the streets selling crack, and now the president's giving you props? Like, that doesn't just happen. Like, dude, it's come a long way, dude. It deserves appreciation. Because
you change your life around you change your life in the sense that you're no longer doing that.
Right.
And you understand that there's a higher calling to you.
Right.
This is one of those examples where you have to cut people off. You have to stop doing the celebrating your vices, and drugs to other people are going to be a vice. Right. But in this sense, you're going for your true passion. And you're going for something that's going to make you more money because you're actually pursuing your passion, and you're going to put in the hours for that.
Right.
So
on to Lucifer. Lucifer was one of those big tracks off of this album, obviously, and we're going to be talking about it and going into it. From my early recollection of this album, I remember listening to it through my cousin who first introduced me to it. We were in his car, and he was playing this album. He's like, man, you got to hear this album. And, I was, I think, kind of barely starting to like get into rap at this time personally, like starting to rap and stuff. I remember listening through this album as he was playing in the car, and Lucifer was one of those joints. I was just like, this beat is crazy. This beat is nuts.
Yeah. You get the Kanye production.
Early Kanye production, dude.
You get a nice reggae sample from Max Romeo's Chase the Devil.
This Kanye right here is like, oh man, this is that Kanye that people always say, I miss the old Kanye. This is that Kanye right here. And one of the funny stories that, like, I think it was Dave Chappelle talked about his early introduction to Kanye, and Kanye was around, and I guess this track was playing, and he's like, stop the tape. He goes, play that again. And he goes, did you hear that? Play it again. Just that one line. Kanye, so you did it again. You were genius. Like, it's so iconic. That's an iconic shout out to the producer. You know, you were genius. He could have said that to any of these other producers. He didn't quite say the genius thing. But then that also kind of came back to haunt Kanye, where it started getting to his head a bit. You know, this whole genius thing. So
I've always appreciated Kanye West, the producer. I've always, this is a hot take or whatever, but Kanye West isn't as good as an MC as you guys lead to believe. But producer wise, top 10.
Yeah.
Top 5.
Yeah.
You know,
but you know, sometimes it's about the swag though. I mean, Kanye has the swag, you know, and he might not be like, and this is my take on it. I think he might not be as lyrical as, like, let's say a Jay-Z or something, but he has a swag which is enough to at least
compensates.
Yeah.
I mean, even the argument can be there for Slick Rick too.
Yeah.
Where Slick Rick was able to storytell and present it.
Right.
Anyway.
So yeah, going back to the track.
We're talking Lucifer here off the Black Album. Going with the hymn, sinning. So he's like, Lord, forgive him. He got some dark forces in him, but he also got a righteous cause for sinning. Them a murder me, so I got to murder them first.
Right.
Emergency. Doctors perform procedures.
Now, this all plays to the chorus, of course. The chorus is saying that, Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm going to chase you out of earth. So he's saying that there's people that are like devils, dark forces, you know, coming against him, the naysayers, people that are hating. And so he's out for vengeance. He's out for blood, but it's like righteous vengeance. And
yeah, it's akin to Julius off of Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yes.
He's using he's using certain verses in the Bible to dictate his his vanquishing.
And I am the Lord. And he just like points. He like totally takes it out of interpretation. Yeah. I am the Lord, like in his own hands.
Fresh old desert eagle in his face after that.
That is one of the best movie scenes, by the way. Like I love that script. That
takes
movie
his food, takes his drink, and then shoots him.
One of the best things, like, you know, shout out to that whole cast, dude. John Travolta and freaking
Uma Thurman.
Yeah, the whole freaking cast, dude.
Bruce Willis taking a side role too.
Yeah, all of them just outdid themselves in that.
And in these next upcoming bars, you're gonna see the example that I'm leading to, where it says, Jesus, I ain't trying to be facetious, but vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You say it better than all. So he's even giving Jesus credit.
Right.
He's even biting Jesus' lines a little bit.
Yeah.
He says, you said it better than all. And then he says, leave is on death's door, breathing on respirators for killing my best boy haters.
Somebody was saying that can also be a play on, because he calls himself Hova. So it's like he kind of said it himself, maybe, like vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
So it's a double play. That's cool.
So either way, but like the first instance, you know, he's kind of taking it out of its intent, and because he's saying basically he's going to take it in his own hands. So, or like God was endorsing it, in other words. So he's going to go ahead and take it in his hands, you know?
Yeah. And then, for killing my best boy haters on permanent hiatus as I skate in the Maybach Benz, flyer than Sanaa Lathan. So
right there. We have, so respirators killing my best boy haters.
Yeah, haters, high haters.
Like he's saying, hi haters.
Yep.
As I skate in my Maybach Benz, man, that is just cool. Like you see the levels and degrees. Like even though he's dumbed it down, he's still throwing little things in there, like to show you, like, yo,
it's appealing to both the commercial audience and the lyrical audience that still wants to see the lyrical Jay-Z of old.
Right.
Flyer than Sanaa Lathan, so it's the chick from Brown Sugar.
Yeah, and from Love and Basketball, I think too, as well.
Oh yeah, because she was Sid in Brown Sugar, but she's also a homegirl in Love and Basketball. Pumping Brown Sugar by D'Angelo. So alluding to Brown Sugar as well, because of the Brown Sugar song by D'Angelo in Los Angeles.
And also Brown Sugar is slang for is that slang for?
Well, so Brown Sugar is going to be the movie that Sanaa Lathan was in.
Right.
And brown sugar can always be, the taste of a black woman.
Okay, but then I think brown sugar is also it's also slang for I don't know if it's slang for crack or something like that too.
No, it's gonna be. Damn, this is where they're like, you don't know drugs like this.
You don't know drugs like that.
Heroin, I think
it is slang though for drugs too. I do know that. Let me
probably
see
heroin.
Heroin. Yeah. Slang for heroin. So all kinds of wordplay here. So so
it's
he's
layered.
He's referencing the track from D'Angelo, but also referencing heroin, heroin, and then also referencing black women.
Oh, and actually a 4-layer because now you're talking Brown Sugar the movie too.
Oh,
because it's a direct link to Sanaa Lathan. So 4 layers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And this is subterranean almost.
But look at too, D'Angelo. Angelo is another way Spanish for angel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then he said just before that, flyer than Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah.
In a way, I saw it like he can see Sanaa Lathan as a type of angel, maybe because angels fly. So flyer than Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah.
Sanaa Lathan. Maybe he sees her as an angel, but he's playing off of this angel because in the next line he goes into Los Angeles.
Like an evangelist.
Yeah, like an evangelist. And Los Angeles is for angels, city of angels.
And wouldn't some evangelists kind of see them. So some evangelists do see themselves as a messenger from the from the Lord to the Lord.
Yeah, okay. True. And also another just heavy note to make here is that a lot of evangelists really blew up in Los Angeles when there had like televangelism going on.
Yeah.
TBN, which is a Christian network, was started in Los Angeles.
I didn't know that.
Really blew up their network globally, and I don't know what's happened to it lately because the original creators passed, and I don't know if the kids carry that on or not. But it's just crazy to note that
halfway through each episode, we should do an offering.
Shut up.
No, to make the show better. No, I'm sorry.
Let's take an offering to nonprofit. Also, we're nonprofit now. That's wrong. I can introduce you to your maker. Woo. Okay. We already got into this, like, we're going so knee deep in these just couple of bars here, but in Los Angeles, like an evangelist is going to want you to meet your maker. Like,
so angels. This is a good contrast between Lucifer, angels, devils.
Right. But he can introduce you to your maker again, like we were talking that scene from Pulp Fiction where he's like, my name is the law. Where he's pointing that gun. He's like, he can make you meet your maker, right?
Yeah.
Basically, like, about to shoot you. Mm-hmm. Bring you closer to nature. Ashes after they cremate you. Bastards. These bars are crazy. Hope you've been reading your Psalms and chapters. Paying your tithe, being good Catholics. I'm coming. So, like, he's basically saying you better get your life right with God because you're about to meet your maker right now.
I'm from the murder capital where we murder for capital. After the sample plays out.
Yeah.
Murder capital where we murder for capital. So doing the double saying the same 2 words but having them meaning 2 different things. A little double meaning there. So you need to change your attitude for they asking what happened to you.
This song is crazy.
There's always good getting really immersed into slang really gives a benefit to a lot of rappers from New York because the accent plays into it.
Mm-hmm.
Just leaving a lot of slang out will help you rhyme more words. Homage, you go homage sandwich, like famish to sandwich. You can always just play with the words on that. So it's always to where you're from. It's to your benefit, especially with New York where you could just do a lot more word bending. A lot of examples that Andre likes to use is the fact that Jay-Z likes to do word bending, and he also has the fact of like
he said car, hair, yeah.
It's a matter of his what was his like his form of validity. I know he likes to explain it a little differently, but it's like there's a lot more validity that Jay's allowed when he raps to where, oh wow, he probably meant this. And it may not have been where he did mean it, but it's like, hey, Jay probably meant it. A lot of people will give him the benefit of the doubt. And that all plays into the fact that he can word bend, the fact that he can use his accent however which way. So
there was a line in here like where somebody was suggesting that he meant something else in one of these bars, and I was thinking the same thing, like probably so, maybe because like I wouldn't put it past Jay-Z. Like the dude is smart enough to probably also mean this other layer. I think we'll touch on it later down here. Verse 2. Yes, this is a holy war. I wet y'all with the holy water. Spray from the heckler cock automatic. All the static shall cease to exist. I like that because, again, he's playing to this, spiritual theme with the holy war, holy water, but wet you with the holy water, but then spray you with the heckler cock. So that's what he's talking about. The holy water is going to spray you, with the automatic gun. But I like how he also chose to use heckler in there for like a naysayer or a heckler, that's kind of falls in that category. So, you're going to catch one. And all the static shall cease to exist like a sabbatical.
So playing on static, sabbatical.
Like a sabbatical. I throw a couple at you, take 6. And that right there, that was a bar because, it goes into the next line. Spread love to all my dead thugs. So Take 6 is a group, gospel group that has a track, Spread Love, talking about spreading love and stuff like that.
It's also the 6 from the revolver too.
Yeah, so you're catching 6 bullets.
Yeah, so he's doing that. The bullets are.
But I like the automatic because the automatic has a burst of like 3 shots, like do. So if I throw a couple at you, that'd be 6. Somebody was putting math to this and saying, "Whoa, a couple means 2 times 3 to the power of 3 to get 666." It was kind of a reach, but
who broke that down? Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Somebody was putting math on Genius about that, but I think that one's kind of a reach. But dope bar though. I mean, already you see just the layers of meanings that he can like play with.
Spread love to all my dead thugs. I pour out a little Louis the eighth. He drink, yeah.
But what's crazy about that? Usually it's cheap liquor, like you'll pour out for the homies, malt liquor or something. But this dude's gonna pour out the expensive.
Till I head above, yes sir. And when I perish, the meek shall inherit the earth. So another allusion to the fact that he is God. Because wasn't it? Isn't there something to where when Jesus
says, I think his Sermon on the Mount talks about, the meek shall inherit the earth. This is kind of like a famous sermon that he spits. But, because he's on the vengeance path right now, Jay-Z's saying, until I'm gone, then the meek can inherit the earth. But while I'm here, the meek ain't going to inherit nothing but his bullets.
Inherit the lead earth. At that time, it's on and popping. Church. Like Don Bishop. Woo. Don Bishop, Don Magic Wand.
I haven't heard Don Bishop stuff, but I looked it up and I was just like, oh, dang. Like,
Bishop Don Magic Wand was the dude that was always hanging around with Snoop.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so he was a literal pimp before he started anything. It's like the 5th or palm cock either. Lift up your soul or give you the Holy Ghost.
Okay, we'll stop there. I love that imagery because, like, the 5th would be your thumb. So your thumb cocking a Magnum, let's say. Or it could be my palm cocking back the Glock or something. Like, who's thinking of that? Like, he's thinking of all these different ways. We always talk about when MCs, they'll just wrap circles around you in different angles or different ways. Here's Jay-Z doing that. One angle, I'll do it this way. I'll do it this way. Like, it's going to come at you. And I like this play too, like lift up your soul. So you're dying, you're going, to heaven or whatever. or give you the Holy Ghost. Usually somebody with the Holy Ghost, you know, in the, I guess I would say Pentecostal type churches,
Yes.
where there's like, they're like, you know, shaking. They're shaking like, you know, in that case, it could mean like you're scared, like you're so scared you're shaking, like giving you the Holy Ghost. That's kind of a crazy play.
Please, I leave you in somebody's cathedral for stunning like Evil Knievel. So he's going to leave you dead in somebody's cathedral because you decided to stun on him. Like,
yeah, because you're wearing some Jordans or something.
Or could you try to put a stun on him?
Oh, or you try to put a stun on him. Ooh.
Yeah, I let you see where the bright light leads you. I love.
Oh, yeah, I see that now. So like pastors, in a way, they dress up like Evil Knievel. Like they throw. It's kind of a stunt. The church could be a stunt in some cases.
Yeah.
So he could be talking about the pastors here. I don't know, but yeah.
I'll let you see where that bright light leads you. So it could be the bright muzzle flash from a gun.
Right.
It could be the bright light that you get when you're already almost there.
And you're going to see the bright light ahead of you, like when you're nearing death.
The more you talk, the more you're irking us, the more you're going to need memorial services. Irking us, memorial services. The Black Album, second verse is like Devil's Pot. Save some dessert for us.
Dude, this the imagery and the words, like he's playing all in this world of angels, devils, holy war. Like he is drenching you in that with those words, keeping you in that soundscape.
Yeah, and then he even has, it's a rare moment in his, but it's not a chorus, it's an actual bridge.
Yeah.
And he's all, man, I got to get my soul right. And he's singing it too. He's like, I got to get those devils out of my life. These cowards going to make a ride. They won't be happy till somebody die.
Right.
A lot of people won't get satisfaction until their enemies are all dead.
But that's what I like out of this song or this track, though, is like, you know, he's on this vengeance path, but it's for a righteous cause. So, you know, that whole concept is dope because it's like, if I'm sinning, but it's for a righteous cause, how is God going to look at that? It's like
the man stealing an apple to not be hungry, to not starve to death.
Right. It's a very deep, complex issue, or you know, philosophical like thought. You know, to like, is this right or wrong? Like it's the you know, argument of morality or ethics. Like, is this right or wrong? So it's a cool, dope track. I got dreams of holding a 9mm on Bob's Killer. So his friend Bob from the record label, I think. So his friend had passed, and he's going to go into that, asking him why as my eyes fill up. So it's still bothering him, asking why. These days I can't wake up with a dry pillow, gone but not forgotten. Holmes, I still feel ya. So curse the day that birthed the bastard who caused your church mass, reverse the crash. Dang, it's just, I mean, he's about to reverse the whole thing right now. Reverse the blast, then reverse the car, reverse the day, and there you are, Bob Lob. Lord, forgive him. We all have sinned, but Bob's a good dude. Please let him in. And if you feel in my heart that I long for revenge, please blame it on the sun of the morning. Thanks again.
So he even gets poetical, like he's just getting... Right. It's a genuine plea,
getting deep.
You know, it's a genuine plea, and it's like the more that this song gets played, you would hope, as you know, the creator of the song and probably Jay-Z's shoes, you would hope that it gets played so many times that it connects spiritually to the universal wireless up above. Yeah, you know,
it's just a crazy track when we came back to look at this, you know, because. I mean, I remember around that time there were like, you know, because I grew up in church and stuff. So there's a lot of church friends that I have. And I remember just the fact that this track had Lucifer on it, you know, was deterring us from listening to this, you know, because it was seen more like, well, you know, kind of demonic. And don't get me wrong, Jay-Z does kind of flirt with it a lot.
Yeah, see the On to the Next One music video for reference.
Yeah, and he definitely does flirt with that. But in this particular track, just taking this as a one-case scenario, the whole concept of this is pretty dope because he's again, you know, having these genuine feelings for his friend who was unjustly like murdered, and it sucks, you know, and he's just showing you like he's doing it for a righteous cause, similarly to how when he was selling crack, it was also a righteous cause despite the fact of what drugs do and everything, but it was his means of trying to get out of the streets, you know. So I think it was pretty deep. Moving on to the third and final track that we're covering, it's going to be Allure, which is produced by the Neptunes and Jay-Z. Tell me a little bit why you chose this track, because I didn't actually there was so many good tracks on here that they kind of like left this one in the shadow a bit for me back at that time. Yeah. But what was it about this track that really brought you in?
I like the fact that Jay-Z kind of has a bit of self-awareness of understanding that, hey, look, this life doesn't, he's searching for something more than what he's already got. You know, he's looking for some other outlet, you know, in a spiritual sense, he's looking for a calling. Right. And he feels that within this song that he's just complacent in the fact of luxury. Right. He's complacent in all this luxury, and he's like, no, there got to be something more than this. I was attracted to this now I have it. It's not so attractive. Men always like the chase. Right. And by design, we're always trying to chase the next best thing. But what happens when materialistic wise, we already have all the best things? We search for something beyond ourselves and beyond the confines of what we have. Right, right. This is why a lot of men, you know, philosophers have always looked to the stars. Right. It's like, because everything around them that's always been given, you know, it's like we always look for something more beyond that. Ah, okay. Yeah, so I did think this song, because as I was reading his lyrics, I was just like, yo, this song is deeper than I remembered. I don't remember it being like this cool, and like, you know, a lot of lyricism's going on. He's getting deep. Yeah. You know, and so I thought that was pretty dope. Yeah, it's the allure of temptation, but also being self-aware and understanding that there's something more to life than this. Right. Right. And I watched a video clip of is it called Fade to Black? Yes, the documentary. Yeah. So I watched a clip where he was where Pharrell was talking about this track particularly. He was like, you know, this is the one I'm going to show Jay-Z. He's about to come right now. I'm like, I'm hoping he digs this one, because Pharrell was feeling it. He was like, oh, the beat, yeah. He was all excited about it. And so Jay-Z pulls up and he gives Jay-Z the speech about Carlito's Way in the end. Carlito's Way is trying to leave that life, but in the end, he gets pulled back into it. You know, so he gives Jay-Z like a little bit of that speech, but Jay-Z was distracted with his keys or something. So he kind of wasn't paying attention, or at least didn't seem like he was, but he was. And then, so when Pharrell cut what he was saying, he was about to play the beat, and he goes, "That's it? That was your speech?" And Pharrell was like, "Yeah, that's my speech." He's like, "Carlito's Way, all right, let me hear it." And he plays it, and you know, he gives Jay-Z. Plays the instrumental. Yeah, he plays the instrumental. Jay-Z's hearing it, and he's just like, gives him that look. And then that's all Pharrell needed. He's like, he looks to the camera. He's like, "Woo!" And we did this little peace sign. Yeah, like it like was the perfect. Stamp of approval. Yeah, it was perfect. All right, so the allure of breaking the law was always too much for me to ever ignore. I've got a thing for the big body Benzes. It dulls my senses. In love with the V-dub engine. So already we see the allure of breaking the law, or doing it by a different means than, you know, what the system is, you know, and doing. And we've seen that all through his career. Jay-Z's always done things differently, you know, whether it's the rap industry where they didn't want to take him, he makes his own label, or whether it's like the sports industry, like they're like saying, "Oh, you don't know anything about being an agent. Watch him do it." You know, he did his own thing with that. Music industry, you know, had his own streaming service, Tidal. You know, he's constantly doing things differently, challenging the system. It's cool. It's really something to appreciate. Putting his name against it too. Right. And also licensing and stuff like that. I think it was Nipsey Hussle that talked about how he was able to use that sample from Orphan Annie, just because the way Jay-Z did that deal with getting the licensing, he made it usable for any other rapper after him.
Jay-Z's always doing things differently. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely business minded. In love with the V-dub engine, man. I'm high off life. F it. I'm wasted. Bathing ape kicks. Audemars Piguet wrists.
Yeah, a watch.
My women friends got tennis bracelets. Trips to Venice. Get their winters replaced with. That's crazy. I never knew like you could take a trip to Venice and it's almost like you skip winter. Like I guess that's kind of what he's saying.
Yeah, and the rhyme style with that's like one of the most important parts. Like in Allure, this is one of the most impactful bars that I had because the style of it, the way he spun it, he's all like, my women friends get tennis bracelets, trips to Venice, get their winners replaced with.
Oh, I hear that swing. Yeah, I hear that.
And then he's like, the sun, it ain't even fun no more. I'm jaded. So this is where he understands, hey, look, like this is it. Like I want something more. Yeah. Man, it's just a game. I just play it to play it. I put my feet in the footprints left to me without saying a word. The ghetto's got a mental telepathy.
Yeah. So in other words, like, you know, his brother hustles. He's about to mention that.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like the game is constantly coming into his mind, mental telepathy. So it's like speaking to him, even though it can't audibly speak. It's like it's speaking to him. My brother hustled so naturally. Up next was me. But what perplexes me, I know how this movie ends. Still, I play the starring role in Jovito's way. Just change it to him.
Despite the fact that he knows what the consequences of this lifestyle leads, he still goes for it.
Yeah, even though he knows how risky it can be selling crack or
it's the allure.
Trying to make it in the rap industry. Right. You know, he's willing to gamble it. Similar to like a gambler, you know, they're risking their fun. They're risking big money sometimes, big stakes.
On the line.
Big stakes.
It's just life. I solemnly swear to change my approach. Stop shaving coke. Stay away from hoes. Put down the toast because I be doing the most. Oh, no.
But every time I felt that was that, it called me right back. It called me right back. Man, it called me right back.
Just when you thought you were out of the game, it pulls you right in.
And this is what I was talking about that was so ironic is like, you know, after this album, ultimately Jay-Z does come back. He returns.
Yeah.
You know, because you can hear the realness of this because of the allure that it has, you know.
This is an important bar right here when he pops off of the second verse. I'm like a Russian mobster drinking distilled vodka until I'm under the field with Hoffa. It's real. Jimmy Hoffa. I did a Jimmy Hoffa reference like 4 months ago to a couple people at work. No one got it. So now I know I'm officially at this point where my Simpson references and my Jimmy Hoffa references, they're not going to be landing as much now.
Oh, because you spit it with the younger like person or something?
Yeah. So I just said, I was like, man, we couldn't find him. It was like Jimmy Hoffa. And I'm looking around, just I'm like, who the hell's Jimmy? Like everyone's just like, who the hell's Jimmy Hoffa?
Oh man.
So Jimmy Hoffa, little mobster from Jersey, got in trouble, got in a little too much trouble.
Know your history, everybody. Know your history. It's very important.
And he ended up going missing, and no one's found him.
They say that he was buried because he was a big in politics. He was the head of like the union. And it was said that he was connected with mobsters and that mobsters were backing him up and stuff. And I guess he just disappeared. He like just vanished and nobody knows where he's at. The story is that he was buried under the Giants field.
Yeah.
That's the story. So that's why he said, until I'm under the field with Hoffa, you know, until his time or his number's up, you know, with the Russian mob.
Oh yeah. Detroit, not Jersey. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Hoffa real. Peel the top up like a toupee. Mix the water with the soda. Turn the pot up and make a souffle.
Talking about like making crack.
Key ingredients to making your favorite narcotics. Yeah. All you could say is, what does he say? Is like, all of y'all could get it.
Like group page on your two-way. And you can imagine during that time, pagers and stuff was more prominent. Jay-Z being a dealer probably was very connected through pagers. So, you know. But a cool way to spin it, because remember I always talk about this, you always date yourself with like mentioning stuff like pagers.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel dated though, the way he spun it, because he cleverly weaved it in here where it doesn't feel dated, even though he used that as a reference. So I thought that was kind of interesting to note. I'm living proof that crime do pay. Say hooray to the bad guy and all the broads putting cars in their name. So like to say, women who might be down to put cars under their name for like tax write-offs, so that way Jay-Z could get a tax write-off, or for other reasons, but I think that's the main reason. For the stars of the game, putting cane in their bras and their tomorrows on the train. So mules, like people,
putting cane in the bras, or even their tomorrows on a train being the fact that you entrust this gentleman so much with your livelihood that, hey, look, I'm gonna ride with him.
Yeah.
Just all in the name of love.
Yeah, all in the name of love, just to see that love locked in chains, and the family came over the house to take back everything they claimed, and you find out you're like the mistress. And so the family comes back to reclaim everything. Or even the worst pain is just the distress, learning you're all the mistress only after that love gets slain, and the anger and the sorrow mixed up leads to mistrust. Now it gets tough to ever love again, but the allure of the game keeps calling your name. To all the lures of the world, I feel your pain. To all the Christies in different cities and the Tiffany lanes, we all hustlers in love with the same thing. Woo!
And then he goes with the last verse. He's like, and it's funny too because he's not really. There's not a lot of like. It's not an atypical start of the way he does with this verse. He just goes, I never felt more alive than riding a shotgun in Klein's Green 5 until the cops pulled guns. And I tried to smoke weed to give me the fix I need when the game did to my pulse with no results. And you could treat your nose and still won't come close. So he's telling you that, hey, look, even you could try sniffing coke, you could try smoking weed, but you're not going to get that spot.
Yeah,
you're not going to get that like moment of clarity. You're not going to get that ultimate high.
Right. What's cool about that whole scenario, that story there is, that was like his early career when he went off with that dude, his name was Calvin Klein, kind of more street affiliated guy. Yeah. And he gets pulled over with the cops or whatever. I think they got into some sort of
they got arrested together.
Yeah, okay. So they got arrested. So I think what it was the guy was going to be charged, or he was accused for murder or something like that. Yeah. And I think Jay-Z offered to take that because he already had a murder case already prior to that. So I think Jay-Z was going to like offer to take his place in that. But the guy recognized Jay-Z's potential and was like, no, we'll settle it somehow.
Klein took the bid like that.
Yeah.
Because he knew that there was a lot more towards Jay-Z's outcome as a rapper.
Right. He saw the potential in Jay-Z. And so, but it's like he later on does an interview and says, like I was part of Jay-Z's, lifestyle that he needed to have or experience in order to rap about these things too at the same time. So it's kind of a cool play that Jay-Z references that, because that did play a big part or impact it had on him. Where were you at?
Give me the fix I need, and what the game did to my pulse with no results. And you could treat your nose, it still won't come close. The game is the light bulb with 11 million volts.
Damn.
So it could shock you.
Yeah. And again, just showing you that hustler mentality, like he's always going to be that at the end of the day. Like
he's saying that the bright lights of 11 million volts, and I'm just a moth addicted to the floss. Ooh. The doors lift from the floor and the tops come off. Ooh. By any means necessary, whatever the cost. So by any means necessary, the Malcolm X book, whatever the cost, even if it means that lives is lost. So kind of like to the notion of like, hey, look, we got to do it by any means necessary. Right. And I can't explain why. I just love to get high, drink life, smoke the blueberry sky, blink twice. I'm in the blueberry 5. You blink 3 times. I may not even be alive. I mean, even James Dean couldn't escape the allure. Ooh. Dying young, leaving a good looking corpse, of course. And he just goes back to the whole, let's go with the chorus one more time. It's just life. I solemnly swear to change my approach. Stop shading with coke. Stay away from hoes. Put down the toast because they be doing the most. Because I be doing the most. Oh, no.
But every time I felt that was that, it called me right back. Called me right back. Man, it called me right back. Oh, no. And so Pharrell at the end.
And after explaining these lyrics, this is one of the most description one of the most descriptive summations of Jay-Z's. This is the most jiggy you'd get out of Jay-Z when he explains it as honest as possible. This isn't showman Jay-Z trying to give you all this. No, this is him being pretty honest with you about, hey, look, being in the game like I was, the allure's there. And this is what I want to show you about it.
Right. And it's just like a movie. Like when we watch these movies, these crime boss movies, Casino, Godfather, all these, great movies, even Carlitos Way.
Yeah.
They all show you what that allure is or what it's like. And we watch it because of that allure, it's like romanticizing it. And, but Jay-Z's case, he was actually, in that like real life and saying that it does really have that allure. And that's what keeps them going, that natural high, more than a drug can ever do. That's going to give him his kicks at the end of the day. So you see like that, that hustler mentality, that streetwise guy that's like playing chess moves, and no matter where he's at, like it's always stuck with him,
Yeah, it's the drive that we get as men to try to succeed, and even if we do it nefariously through means of like drug trafficking, through the means of like just dealing drugs, it's like, well, at this point, some people are in the position where it's like, there's nothing better that I can do right now. I can't. I'm such and such years old. I can't go back.
Right.
This is why a lot of people don't want to leave the drug game, because it's like, well, there's money to be made. There's a lot of money to be made. I know how to make this money, and this is the only way I know how to. So the allure comes from that. You can even have the sense to where, I broke like Jay-Z can probably say, this is an example of like, I broke from that allure, from all that temptation. I could still get the same results on this end, but I do it from a sense of business, legitimate business, and actually doing it at a music level.
Yeah, man. So this album is just one of those special albums. I mean, there's a lot here. There's layers. There's different works with different producers. The lyricism's here. The storytelling's in this album.
Yeah,
you hear that. There's definite wordplay going on. There's different flow changes. There's songs you could dance to at the club in it. There's also songs that are street. There's a lot. There's a lot going on here.
I like the idea that we still have a lot left for the viewers to unfold on their own.
Mm-hmm.
For those that haven't listened to the Black Album in its entirety, I recommend that you do so. The 3 songs that we picked, you're gonna like the rest. There's a lot more songs that are entertaining in their own regard, thoughtful, a lot more insightful into Jay-Z's younger life that people would like. And this album, I'll never get tired of listening to it. Anytime I need to like get a pick me up on this, on just being a little bit more motivated, just trying to like, not even with just motivational like speakers that I listen to or just like motivational podcasts, but when I need to get my jiggy on, I have to like get that hustler, the super hustler mentality back on. Think of Jay, man.
Yep. Yeah, he's definitely a figure that you have to think about when you talk about, hustler, like rap, like, dude, Jay's the king of that, and he's been doing it, that's what's crazy about it. I mean, Jay-Z, he's had highs and lows. We've saw even some of his lows in hip hop, which I think is kind of cool. Like when he took that L from Nas on that, those diss tracks, but it's kind of cool to see that he's human, and the dude's been doing it constantly, which makes this album even better. The fact that we know the Jay-Z that we know today, and we can go back and listen to this and like retroactively be like, yo, dude wasn't lying. Like, dude, this was just the tip of the iceberg to what he wanted to do and did do. So big props to Jay-Z on this album, and thank you for making this album.
Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah,
and on the eve of 20-year anniversary.
All the producers who worked on it. Shout outs to all you guys, man. Special producers All Up on This. Just a classic ass album.
Yeah.
Thoughts really quick to summarize.
It's been an album I've listened to for 20 years, and I honestly don't get tired of it. I still think Jay is like, it just feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Jay still sounds the same, like it's delivery wise and everything. It's going to be an irreplaceable piece in hip hop, especially around this time where you got to have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have the opportunity to talk about it and provide our insight on it, because man, it's an album that I enjoyed hearing for the first time. And I just like hear that beginning part, like you just hear this like funky intro on it. And you're just like, you got taken to a place, man, straight up. Like I know exactly where I was when I listened to it for the first time. I know where that intro, where I was walking from school.
Yeah.
It's a really good album, and
it
made me a fan.
Yeah.
I was never a Jay-Z fan up until this point. That's the shocker.
Yeah.
And I always, like I mentioned before, I always thought that he was outside of my salary bracket. Like I never thought about it.
I like tracks like Hard Not Life and Big Pimp, those big tracks, commercial success tracks. Like I liked those, but it didn't really draw me to the level of fandom after I heard this album.
Yeah.
It was different. Something happened where I had to hear everything off of this album. And when you did, it was like, I just saw him differently. I respected him like lyrically and everything he was doing. And then it made me retroactively go back and re-listen to everything again. So like this one was the one that really pulled me. Like I said, some of the other tracks I liked, but I didn't really get drawn enough to where I was going to like get the whole album and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until this album happened. And then that's how it worked for me. So, that's what's pretty crazy too.
Yeah. I think Jay's in his final form here.
Yeah.
He's coming from a place where he's leaving it all on the floor, and that's what you expect when he presented it as his final album. This is why I sympathize with this album a lot, because I wanted to hear like the last ditch effort. Everyone was talking about it at the time. So this was something that, like you even thought about when Jordan goes to the Wizards,
he
like,
mentions that too. Yeah.
Or again, like I mentioned, we all kind of knew that Jordan was going to retire in 98. We didn't know if he was going to play until we found out, hey, look, this is going to be the last time. And you end up, listening to it, but damn, he's back now. After all that, he's back.
All right, so great album. We highly suggest to listen to this album through, and even if you already have, just take another listen to it just for the sake of it. Because it's kind of cool to, that's the cool thing is we're covering albums that happen to be, quite a years back, where it's like a refresher for people to go back and listen to, which is kind of cool. So like, it's been some time since, the Black Album has been out. And so that might mean that, it's been a while since we've last listened to it.
Yeah.
So go back, listen to it again, and, just enjoy this art piece, that was put out for us.
Absolutely.
So before we leave, we want to give a little plug. There's speaking of businessmen, Mark has his own venture with the Notorious Pin going on, and tell us a little bit about that, Mark.
Yeah, the Notorious Pin, where we specialize in making enamel pins based on pop culture. The pop culture that I like, representing is video games, a lot of video game based pins. You guys can check out the full catalog of what we have available. We have like at least 35 pins available for you guys to purchase on the notoriouspin.com. If you like social media, feel free to follow us on El Notorious Pin, or on TikTok as well, at the Notorious Pin as well on TikTok. So we're here, there, and everywhere. So we appreciate all the customers, past, present,
support
and future.
Small business, man. You got to support Especially if you guys are, are really messing with us on the podcast and you're enjoying, the work that we're putting in here. It's work. We're not just coming in here, half-assing it. We're putting in work, and trying to really give a good analysis from our point of view of the albums, So support your boy Mark here on that venture. So yeah, before we leave off, of course, give us a follow, subscribe, share, keep engaging with us. We really do appreciate that. We've noticed a lot of Aesop Rock fans out there, heavy Aesop Rock fans.
The Aesop Rock Militia, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we do. We really appreciate all the comments and feedback to that.
Happy birthday to Wordsworth.
Ooh,
yeah, we gotta make sure to give him it's his birthday today.
Oh, okay, good call. Yeah,
so it's his birthday.
Happy birthday, Wordsworth, man. Yes. Much shout outs to you, legend. Thank you for all the inspiration that you've, all the music that you put out and just the lyricism that you devote. We really, as hip hop heads, appreciate that level of detail that you put in your lyrics, and just a masterful MC and dude, just legendary on all levels. So big ups to happy birthday to Wordsworth, man. Yeah. And also for just even supporting us on the show, dude. No MC has really supported us like that, which is,
we appreciate the pat on the back on that, bro. 100%. Thank you.
And we're on our road to, I guess,
270. We had 262.
Yeah. So we're on the road to 270. Yeah. I think we can do that. Maybe by the next episode, I think we can maybe do that. Hopefully.
Are we talking about 500 subscriber giveaway or something?
You know what? We should do something like that.
Yeah, we'll give away a freestyle.
Give away a freestyle. So guys, definitely follow us, find us on all channels. We appreciate that support. And we'll be dropping episodes every Monday. Go ahead, hit them, Mark.
Freestyles every 5 episodes too. So consider where you get your hip hop podcast from, because we are former MCs, current MCs, as a couple of us do. Yeah. And we freestyle off the top of the head every 5 episodes, off the top, not just up freestyle.
Right.
To the MCs, if you drop a mic, drop a like.
Drop a like. Till next time. Peace. Fade to black.
That's quick. You a genius.
Fade to black.